As members of the international cultural and academic communities, we call for the immediate release of our peers, Professor John Grayson and his colleague, Dr. Tarek Loubani, from custody in Egypt. Professor Grayson was arrested in Cairo on his way to make a film in Gaza with Dr. Tarek Loubani.
Yeah. As I said in the monologue, they're both activists. They're well-known, notorious, whatever word you'd like to apply there, and they did get out of prison, and so they should. But there's a double standard here. They were darlings of the chattering classes. Now, Mohamed Fahmy, I don't know much about this person, but he's a real journalist, Al Jazeera, been in prison in Egypt for some time now, and some colleagues with him as well. Who knows what is going on? And it doesn't just apply, as I said earlier, to people like this. The left constantly, they adopt certain causes, but other people they treat with absolute indifference and apathy. Tariq Fatah is consistent in standing up for civil rights and human freedom. Why is there this double standard?
I think there's a star value attached to those who denigrate Israel. If there is a sense of someone's anti-Semitism wrapped up as patriotism towards the Palestinians, which I don't mind, that group of people will be taken on celebrities. Mohamed Fahmy, being a professional journalist, doing his job in Al Jazeera, deserves, as a Canadian from Ottawa, deserves to be spoken up much more than someone who was taking over remote-controlled glided aircraft into the Gaza territory and being treated as some sort of a Che Guevara. Yeah. So these two fellows who went there are classified, in my account, as guerrilla tourists from the left, very rich people who act very poor and then go out to play out their dreams of revolution. Mohamed Fahmy, on the other hand, is a professional journalist who's just doing his job and is suffering because the present military government has clamped down on Al Jazeera television.
They're accusing him of being a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, Al Jazeera I have some issues with, but often its reporting is very impressive. They do actually show both sides. They have been very critical of the Muslim Brotherhood. I doubt he was a member, but even if he is, he hasn't broken the law. Some people are speaking out for him, but nothing like this ridiculous media. It was like episodes of Downton Abbey, for goodness sake. We must get them out. We must get them out.
It was. But let me clarify. He could not have been a member of the Muslim Brotherhood if he was with Al Jazeera, because Al Jazeera has gone out of its way to establish its credentials in a very deceiving manner. I would say I'm no fan of the Al Jazeera network because it is primarily because it's run by a bunch of dictators running a medieval kingdom somewhere in. But that's a separate discussion.
Well, they have their problems with it too. But
yes, this man is not, and the two fellows who did go there had a track record. In fact, Tarek Loubani had a brush with the law inside Israel. They act like refugees. They're actually sons of millionaires who go to private schools, and everything is laid out to them. And then they get treated. And the fact that they haven't spoken out for Mohamed Fahmy, I hope they do, but the fact that
I'm not aware if they have or haven't. I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything about this gentleman because he's just doing his job. He doesn't have a public relations company behind him, manufacturing him. You've been on assignments. You wouldn't have a whole group behind you in Toronto, which you would say, this is what you have to say, or this is what you don't have to say. And these are the double standards that...
Well, it goes beyond the Middle East. It goes beyond foreign affairs. I referred to this briefly in my monologue earlier. When Jack Layton passed away, and Jack was someone I respected, and it was very sad when he died. But the mourning, and if you didn't mourn in the right way, it was almost like not mourning for Princess Diana. People would virtually attack you. Yet when Mrs. Thatcher died, the day she died, an elderly woman with Alzheimer's, people were singing in the streets, "Ding dong, the bitch is dead."
Well, Margaret Thatcher died and is remembered for a different age. And Jack Layton died in an era of mediocrity in which substance is not valued at all. Nobody stands for certain principles. It is, people are viewed more as how anti-American they are, how much against the Christian right they are, not how much against the Islamic right. So the same people who are very hostile and mock, for example, the small Christian churches in deep south of America are quite happy to embrace the most ridiculous right-wing medieval nonsense that comes out of the Islamic right.
I remember tweeting briefly about a horrific murder, rape and murder of Christians in the Third World, and please no names of it, but somebody in a liberal staffer tweeted, poor Christians, this mockery, mocking people who'd been raped and murdered. There is a double standard over and over again. Forgive Islam, forgive the Muslim world, forgive Arab dictatorships, forgive the hard left, but be very hard on America, on Israel, on Christians and Canada.
I think there's a turning point emerging. If you've heard of the Houston Group, these Britain-based
manifesto, yes,
manifesto
friends of mine are
folks, they're
part of it,
talking about it. Douglas Murray, a conservative humanist, an atheist, has talked about this double standard.
Yeah.
So people are coming to recognize. I think 2014 is going to be a very crucial year.
I hope you're right. I mean, Douglas is someone I respect very, very much. He's very brave, and the people at Standpoint magazine, but they're relatively isolated. As always, Tarek, a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.